What is your name?
My name's Erica.
And Erica, how do you describe your complexion?
I describe myself or my complexion as peanut butter. I think I'm peanut buttery.
Okay. And how do others describe your complexion?
I've heard, I think most often what I hear is light skinned, which really puzzles me, because I don't view myself that way.
Okay.
And I guess it's just all in what your concept of light and dark is or something.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. What are some of the things that you've heard said about your skin tone that you like?
Some things that I've heard said about my skin tone. Wow. I don't know that there's a lot of discussion about my skin tone. I mean, sometimes when you're dating, brothers will, tell you some flattering things. And my skin tone does come up a lot. I'll hear, I love your skin tone, kind of caramel or, something like that or whatever. That's basically it.
Okay. What are some things, if any, that you heard about your skin tone that you don't care for?
Well, the experiences that I've had with skin tone occurred derogatory things occurred before I moved to Detroit. I moved to Detroit when I was 13 from Canada. And in the area that I grew up in, there were a lot of white people. And then the black people were most often biracial and didn't necessarily identify themselves as being black. They were more identified with the white people. So I got called names like darky, which, is completely ridiculous. But you have, again, like what I said earlier, it's all about what your perspective is. If you're biracial and you happen to be on the fairer side, then I guess I would be, a darky. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you said this is up until you were age 13?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how did that make you feel?
You know what? To be perfectly frank with you, I felt so unattractive. I hated being black. I wished I could be white, But then when I moved to Detroit and there were all kinds of black folks, I just thought it was beautiful, and I just felt really at home.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, how did your parents help with, or what did they do or not do to affirm or?
Well, my grandparents actually live here and they adopted me. Those are the people over there.
I'll pan to them a little later.
Yeah. But when I was living in Canada, I was in foster care. And so I was being raised by white people, and they didn't know, what to say, how to help a sister with her hair, I was just making it on my own. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you moved to the States, how did your grandparents help you, or what did they say anything at all?
I shared some of the experiences that I'd had, in Canada, because like I said, my self-esteem was pretty low, because I just thought, because I was black, I was ugly, my hair didn't look like, the other little kids' hair looked, and, I just didn't feel attractive at all. And when I came here, my style was different because it was a Canadian thing, and that was not cool. I just remember lamenting a lot, over how ugly I was. And, my grandmother would say, you're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And I would say, you're supposed to say that, you love me or whatever. But, as time wore on, like I said, I just felt very comfortable, in a way when I got here, because there were so many people looking like me, and there are so many different kinds of black beauty, and in Canada, I didn't see that multi-dimensional black beauty, if you will, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, if you look, the more white you look, the cuter you are, or at least that was my experience. I don't know if other black Canadians feel the same way.
Okay. Describe the different complexions in your family.
Oh wow. They range from what I would call like a mahogany, like a darker complexion, to where I am to extremely fair, looking like you're white in my family. Well, my maternal grandmother, she has green eyes, and she, now that she's older, she really looks like a little old white lady. It's my understanding that her mother was, I think she was black, but I think her father was white. And so you have that, and then my maternal grandfather, both of his parents were black. So he's like well, you see him in that picture over there. He's a mahogany color. And then with my own siblings, I'm the only totally black sibling. Everybody else's daddy is white, obviously. And
I'll have to show those pictures, that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, growing up, now, you didn't grow up at all with your siblings, or you did?
No, we just had kind of like spurts of time together, not even ever for like a whole year, just maybe months at a time. Yeah.
Okay. But you knew them?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever feel different because of the different appearance?
Yeah, my mother, she would say things, like, with my sister, for instance, she had blonde hair, and her eyes were kind of like that kind of weird green-blue thing or whatever, that changes colors. And, when she was a little kid, she looked like Shirley Temple. That's the best way I can describe it. She really did. And, my mother would say, well, Melanie is my, she's my little model, and Erica's smart. But I
yes,
think,
I do.
Yeah. You're the smart one. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me. But I think my own mother, she might have had, she's pretty much my complexion, and maybe she had some of the same kinds of experiences that I did growing up, and that caused her to think, that her biracial children were more attractive than her totally black child. I don't know.
What assumptions do you think people make of about people of other complexions?
Wow, that's really loaded. Like I said, you hear so many things about people who are fair, have a fair complexion, that they somehow think they're better than other people. I think that sometimes you assume that people with a darker complexion may not feel that great about themselves. Sometimes I've caught myself being really stunned, when you run into, a darker sister, and she just exudes confidence. You know what I mean? Because I think that a lot of us have been told for so long that that's not beautiful. You know what I mean? And, as far as but darker men are concerned, I think people assume a lot of things about them too. Like, you assume that they're like kind of a thug, or, you associate derogatory things. I don't know if everyone does that, but I think a lot of derogatory things are attached to a darker complexion.
Mm.
Yeah.
If you could choose to be a different complexion, would you?
I've always, not always, but when I moved here, I just was like, I've just always noticed that darker women are just, when they're beautiful, they're really beautiful. They have beautiful black hair and long dark eyelashes and brows and everything. And so I've pretty much, kind of hated on them. Like, I really, would like that look. I think that's really, really pretty.